Morning, folks. This is Deb. You know, it's time we have a frank discussion about the Republican Party. And I'm going to tell you what spurred this video. I saw an article about Lisa Murkowski calling for the Republican Congress to stand up en masse together against Donald Trump when he oversteps his boundaries. For example, if you want to get rid of the Department of Education, a department of the government that was created by the Congress, you have to go through Congress to get rid of that department. Okay. The same is true of many other agencies that have been devastated by an unelected, unvetted immigrant named Elon Musk. Okay. But Lisa Murkowski's words are just hollow to me, okay? This is a woman who has literally rubber stamped 17 of the 19 idiots that Trump has put in his cabinet. The only two she voted against were Patel and Hegseth, okay? Everybody else she voted for. She had assurances from RFK Jr. That, he would use good science in making his decisions. You've got to be shitting me, okay? Have you seen Children's Health Defense, his website? There's no fucking science there. It's pseudoscience. All right. And he can say he's divested himself of that. He created that. So let's stop with the nonsense, okay? Let's stop with all of this. We now have a measles outbreak that started in Texas that is now spread to New Mexico, with no end in sight, by the way. A disease we virtually eradicated through vaccines, not through, of course, supplements or herbs, okay? So we're also talking about a man who now wants to ban SSRIs and put people who are taking SSRIs, who may be addicted to SSRIs, in government-run wellness camps. There was a guy who put people with mental health problems in camps before. His name is Adolf Hitler. Okay. I mean, anybody remember any of that? Did you take world history when you were in school? Because I did. I know exactly what Adolf Hitler did. That's about as Hitler-esque as you can get. And by the way, let me just say this. This coming from an 18-year heroin addict who insisted that heroin made him focus better. A man who wants to eat roadkill and claims that half of his brain was eaten by a worm. I can't even make this shit up, but Lisa Murkowski voted for him. This is my point. The Republican Party turned themselves over to Donald Trump, a man who is a fascist, authoritarian lunatic, period. End of story, okay? They literally gave their party to him. Yes, we all saw the videos of Ted Cruz and Lady Lindsey Graham insulting him prior to 2016. But they were all too eager to bend the knee once he rose to power and came down the golden elevator. They're all a pack of cowards. And if they're not cowards, trying to protect themselves and their position so they can get reelected again, then they're full-on fascists. But either way, the Republican Party is the fascist party. It is no longer a party that has a respect for democracy or the rule of law. They could give a shit. They are living on the government's dime. Elon Musk showing up at CPAC with a chainsaw after, of course, giving the Nazi salute. Then Steve Bannon showing up at CPAC and giving the Nazi salute. And they can say that wasn't the Nazi salute, that wasn't what they were doing, but that's bullshit. I'm tired of dancing around this shit now. They're Nazis. It's the end of the story here. So let me just say this to you. If you are supporting the Republican Party as a voter, that's what you're supporting. You're supporting a fascist regime. If the people who vote Republican don't wake up soon, we're in for a long haul here, and it will not be pretty. We're talking about a party that reveres Vladimir Putin and ignores its allies. They're only too willing to do this. And let me get back to Lisa Murkowski for a minute here. Go visit her Twitter page, okay? She talks about We're so pleased that the Republican Party is doing this. There's not one fucking thing that the Republican Party has done since Donald Trump took office again that has been worthwhile. Not one. She proudly took a picture of herself with Chris Wright, the guy who's running the Department of Energy, a man who, I'm going to read this to you, wants to, quote, return regular order to LNG exports, modernize America's nuclear stockpile, unleash nuclear power, and streamline permitting for drill baby drill. Not one mention of climate change here because the Republican Party doesn't give a shit about climate change. We've already been taken out of the Paris Accords again by Donald Trump like we were the first time around. And by the way, Chris Wright has amassed a fortune in a fossil fuel company that he founded in 2011 called Liberty Energy, which is a hydraulic fracking company, okay? He is still the CEO, okay? He holds 2.6 million shares in Liberty, and that's worth $40 million by today's stock price standards. Now, technically, he's supposed to divest of all of that within 180 days of his confirmation, unless he gets a waiver from Donald Trump. What the fuck do you think is going to happen here? Do you think Donald Trump's going to make him divest? Donald Trump hasn't divested of any of his business, and he's got a crypto scam running right now. President of the United States. You know, I'll tell you, the people of the United States need to make their voices heard. All of this shit needs to be brought to the forefront. And I'm going to suggest to you that we need to move to ban the use of the Nazi salute and the swastika in this nation right now. We need to join Germany, Australia, Austria, Brazil, France, China, Israel, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, the Ukraine, and Switzerland. Instead of sending the ACLU out to fight for people's right to display something that is a symbol of Nazi Germany's crimes against humanity. I suggest we make that a focus of phone calls for the next few weeks. We've got an awful lot on our plate here to call about, but that should be one of those things. It's disgusting. There were Nazis marching in Boston yesterday. My daughter saw them on the way to work. Okay, I'm going to suggest to you that anytime they are seen in any part of this country, that they need to be driven out of that area by the people. They're cowards. Their faces are always masked because they don't want to be seen. They don't want anyone to know who they are, just like the fucking White Hoods of the Ku Klux Klan. They need to be driven out of the area. They always seem to amass in areas where there's a lot of foot traffic because, of course, they're afraid because they're cowards. All people like Donald Trump and all the people who support Donald Trump are cowards. That's essentially what we're talking about. Fascists and cowards. So in the YouTube version of this video, I will have a whole bunch of articles that prove to you just what the Republican Party is willing to accept. And I will be back. I'll talk to you all later. Have a great Sunday.